Nice. Okay, we're on 34. And we're going to start, and then if anyone else comes in, we'll just help them out.
34. Nice.
Yeah.
Remember to record there.
I did. Just cut this first bit a little bit. All right, everyone, let's get into a comfortable seated position. So this can be seated on your bum with your legs crossed, or you can be on your shins, sitting down onto your heels, whatever feels comfortable for you. The most important thing here is that you get a nice long alignment with your spine, sitting up nice and tall. And just take a few deep breaths on your own. You can even wriggle around if you want to a little bit. I sometimes like to do that just before I get properly settled. And then once you feel like you're settled, closing your eyes. Soften your jaw. Soften your mouth, your shoulders. And just taking a few deep breaths here on your own. Try to feel where you're breathing into. So are you breathing into your chest or your belly? Are you breathing in and out through your nose or through your mouth? Taking a few extra deep breaths now, all the way into the belly. And when you breathe out, giving a little bit of a squeeze into your belly, pressing out all of the remaining air. Try to feel that you're expanding through the front, the back, and the side of your body. Each time you breathe in, like a balloon, expanding into the belly, the rib cage in the side, and into the low back. Start to fire up into your core muscles a little bit. So giving a little bit of a squeeze into the low belly, the pelvic floor, and feel like that's rooting you down. That's your base of stability. And then slightly squeezing your ribs down at the same time. See if you can maintain your breath with this tummy activation. On your next inhale, start lifting your shoulders up towards your ears. Squeeze them up, then squeeze your shoulders back and down as you exhale. 2 more times, deep breath in, shoulders up and back, and exhale, bring them down. 1 more time, breathing in, fill up with air, and exhale, shoulders go down and back. Gently pulling your chin down towards your chest, feeling a gentle stretch into the top of the upper back and the neck. And then gently opening your eyes, just letting a bit of light filter in. And then lifting your gaze up. Rolling over your legs, whichever position you're in, come into a box pose. So hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers out wide and really grab down into the floor with your fingers, like you're a little lizard and you're holding onto a rock. Slightly pressing your chest away from the floor to activate a little bit more into the shoulders. Now starting to make some circles with your body. So taking your shoulders to the side, forward past your fingers, whichever direction for now, doesn't matter. Especially when you go forward, really grabbing down into the fingers, into the hands. Feel the palms and the forearms and the wrists warming up. Change direction. If you weren't alternating directions, changing now. And then finding yourself with your shoulders directly over your wrists. With your left arm, reaching it far forward with your thumb facing up, and without rolling your chest open too much, lift your arm up, rotating your arm, feel the shoulder blade squeeze, and then bringing your arm all the way down, but with your fingers pointing towards the outside or pointing back towards your knee. That's up to you. Keep a slight bend into both elbows. As you take an inhale, bring your belly down to the floor, lift your chest and look forward for cow pose. And as you exhale, press the chest away from the floor, pull your chin to your chest and squeeze in your bum for cat. Deep breath in, belly down, look forward, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, press into cat, squeeze in the buttocks, get some space between the shoulder blades. One more time, each direction. Inhale, gazing forward, and exhale, gazing to the belly button. Coming back through neutral, flipping the palm so that the fingers face the other way, and then reaching the right arm forward as far as you can. Circle it up and open, squeeze the shoulder blade, and when it circles back down to the floor, your fingers are now facing the outside or towards your your right knee. Deep breath in, pull your belly down to the floor, look forward, and exhale, press into cat, squeezing your ribs closer to your hips. Inhale to gaze forward. Exhale to squeeze the air out, round through the spine, chin to chest. One more time each way. Inhale. And exhale. Flipping the right palm so that the fingers are facing forward. You might want to just roll the wrists out, shake the hands out a little bit if you want. Can be quite heavy on the wrists if you're not used to it. It's also really important to warm up and strengthen the wrists for yoga. Coming back into your box position, lengthen your right leg out behind you so that your leg comes up in line with your hip. Try to do this with your bum, not your back. So we're squeezing the ribs in and squeezing the right butt, pushing the right heel back behind us. And then reaching the left fingertips forward. So reach the left arm forward in line with your shoulder with the thumb facing up. Giving a good squeeze into the belly, into the butt. Now taking your fingertips and your toes straight down to the floor. Keep the arm and leg straight, touching. And as you exhale, lift up, squeeze the butt, squeeze the shoulder blade. Inhale, lower down to touch the floor. And exhale, squeeze up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, squeeze up. This time, bend into the back knee. Circle your arm back and around. Maybe reaching back or maybe grabbing onto the outside of your foot. Maybe holding the ankle and maybe even kicking the leg up into your hand a bit to open up the chest and the hips for tiger pose. Gently letting go of your foot, circle your arm back around, straighten the leg out, and then hand the knee down to the floor. Left leg reaches out to the back. Finding some stability here. Right arm reaches forward. Really pressing the heel out towards the back, reaching the fingertips forward. Take your toes and fingers down to just kiss the floor and squeeze up on an exhale. 2 more times. Breathe in, lower down. Breathe out, squeeze up. Breathe in, lower down. And squeezing up, and on the next one, the arm circles around, bending into the back knee. Maybe you're just reaching your arm back. Maybe you're grabbing onto the outside of your foot. Keep reaching your chest forward and letting go of your foot. Circle your arm back around, hand and knee coming down to the floor. Bring your big toes to touch, take your knees a bit further apart and sit back into child's pose for a moment. Maybe even flexing and extending the hands, the fingers, rolling the wrists if you want to. Really drawing the hips down towards the heels. And then making your way all the way up onto your knees so that you're in an upright kneeling position. Now, if you know the Vinyasa option that you like to do or that you know well, then you're welcome to join me, or join Misha rather, for the demo. Otherwise, just sitting up and watching the demonstration that Misha's going to give us. So first of all, we'll step back into high plank. Nice straight body, squeezing the legs, the butt, squeezing the ribs, and gently pressing the chest away from the floor with the shoulders directly over your hands. Now to move to down dog, you don't have to move your hands and feet, just lift your hips up to the sky, and we'll pedal out down dog a little bit just now when you join us as well. Coming to an equal down dog with both heels pulling down to the floor. Nice straight spine, chest pressing towards the thighs. For option 1 of the Vinyasa, come up high onto your toes, roll forward into high plank. Shoulders over the wrist, knees come down to the floor. And as you exhale, lowering yourself down, keeping the elbows close to your sides, getting your chin and your chest to touch the floor. And then scooching through so that your chest lifts up off the floor, the hips go down, and squeezing the shoulder blades together for Cobra. You can help a bit with your hands here, or you can have yourself lower down on the floor, just with your hands floating away from the ground for Baby Cobra. Then placing your hands down, lower your chest down to the floor, press yourself up using the strength of your arms onto your knees, curl your toes under, sit back to child's pose for a moment, and then lifting your hips up to down dog. And for option 2, come up high onto your toes, roll forward to high plank, shoulders over wrists, keep the elbows close to the sides and lower down just to halfway. Flip to the tops of your feet and straighten out the arms, reaching your chest forward, shoulder blades squeeze together to open up the chest for upward facing dog. Then pulling your chin to your chest and use your tummy muscles to lift the hips back to down dog, flipping one foot over at a time. Nice, guys. So let's meet in downward facing dog. I'm going to go through one more of those. You can choose whichever option feels good for you. Coming up high onto your toes, roll forward to high plank. Either option, bringing knees down or lower down to halfway. If you're down on the ground, either floating your hands or coming up into Cobra. And if you're in upward facing dog, lifting your hips directly back to down dog. Let's all meet in down dog. Pedal out the legs a couple more times if you want. Let's warm up the hips a little bit more. So right leg lifts up to the sky. Keep your hips level for now. Really using the buttocks of that right side to extend the leg. Bend into your knee, open up your hip. Try and get your knee the highest point of your body here. And your heels pulling towards the opposite butt. Come up high onto your left toes. Come forward and pull your knee into your armpits. Hold it there for a moment. Squeeze the tummy, then step your foot to the outside of your right hand. And just moving the hips around here a little bit. So keeping the back knee up. You can move forwards and backwards or make some circles if you like. That's up to you. Now let's keep the back knee up. Ground your hands nicely underneath your shoulders. And then start to lower yourself down, just bringing your chest down towards the floor as much as feels comfortable for you. Once you've gone nice and low, lower your back knee down, release your back foot. You can straighten your arms out a little bit, but keep your hips low, squeezing into the left butt. Take your right hand onto the back of your head and start to rotate your right side open, reaching the right elbow up towards the sky. Press yourself away from the floor with the left arm. When you can't rotate and twist anymore, you can straighten the right arm up to the sky, maybe getting a bit more of an opening. Beautiful. And then bringing the right hand down to the floor. Straighten into the back leg. Float your right foot back to high plank. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower yourself down for your Vinyasa option. Breathe in to lift your chest, look forward. And breathe out, make your way back to down dog. Left leg lifts up, hips level at first, then bending into your knee. Open up your hip, try and get some length down that whole left side of the body. Keeping the pressure equal into both hands and shoulders. Come up high onto your right toes. Come forward, pull your knee into your armpit, squeeze the tummy and the hip, and step it to the outside of your hand. And find a bit of free movement here. So just moving your hips around. You can even straighten the front leg a bit if you like. And then keeping the back leg nice and straight, lifting the hips slightly, then bending into your elbows, start lowering your chest down towards the floor. You've even got the option, if you're quite flexy, to bring your elbows down onto the ground. Keep your hips nice and low, come back up onto your hands. Lower the back knee to the floor, release the back foot. Bring your left hand onto the back of your head and reach your elbow up to the sky. Squeezing the shoulder blades together and then reaching the left arm up to the sky. Maybe even looking up to the top thumb. Taking your hand down to the floor. Getting a good strong base with your hands. Curl your back toes under. Straighten your back leg. Float your left foot back to high plank as you inhale. And as you exhale, take a Vinyasa. And remember, during the flow, whichever Vinyasa you choose, you can also then come down onto your knees at any point. Just listen to what's going to be best for your body. So let's take child's pose for a moment, bringing your knees down to the floor. Sitting back onto your heels. You can have a sip of water if you like before we go into the flow. And then coming all the way up. When you're ready, coming onto your hands and knees. Making your way to down dog. All right, strong downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up to the sky. Bend into your knee, open up your hip. Come up high onto your left toes. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Squeeze, 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 and step your foot between your hands. Now coming up onto your fingertips and just floating your ribs away from your leg. And then reaching your arms down your sides, turning your thumbs to face up. There we go. So the thumbs spin to the outside, squeezing the shoulder blades together like airplane arms. Now keep your body long and strong and just reaching your arms forward out in front of you. Just lifting up as high as you can. You've also got the option to take prayer hands in front of the chest if you like. This is our reaching lunge. Taking your hands down to the floor. Breathe in, step back to high plank. And on an exhale, ride the breath down. On an inhale, you lift your chest up. And exhale, make your way back to down dog. Left leg lifts up, opening up the hip. Come up high onto the right toes. Pull your knee to your chest. Really squeeze it up as high as you can. Step your foot forward. You can help it a bit if you want to with your hand. Come up onto the fingertips and really reach your chest forward, taking the arms out to your sides, thumbs spinning up, finding length from the back heel all the way up to the crown of the head, then reaching the arms forward, and you'll feel the front leg firing up nicely here already. Taking your hands down to the floor. Breathe in, step your front foot back, and exhale, float down nice and strong. Inhale, lifting the chest, and exhale, taking it back to down dog. Right leg lifts up and opens, stepping forward between your hands with control, arms reaching back, and then reaching out forward, coming all the way up, and then spinning the back foot flat onto the floor, open up to warrior two. Arms reaching out to shoulder heights. If you have a look at your front knee, you want the knee stacked directly over your front foot and slightly squeezing your knee out towards your right hand side to get it in line with the front foot. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Breathe in, step back, and exhale, ride the breath down. Inhaling to reach the chest forward, and then chin to chest, hips go back. Left leg up and open, stepping forward with control, nice and strong. Arms reach out to the side, and then reach forward, coming all the way up, spinning your back foot flat onto the floor for warrior two. Looking forwards and backwards, trying to get your hands at shoulder height, and then checking that your shoulders are stacked nicely above your hips. So if they're too far forward, then just bringing your shoulders above your hips. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor, stepping back to high plank. Exhale, lower down, taking whichever variation you like. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, back to down dog. Right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, stepping forward. Arms reach back to the side and then forward and up. Open up to warrior two. Flip the front palm over, reach forward as far as you can, and then the front arm takes you up to reverse warrior. You've got the option to take the hand down the back leg or wrap it around your back. And one swift movement, cartwheel your hands all the way down to the floor, stepping back on an inhale. Exhale, lower down, elbows stay close to the sides. Keep moving through your vinyasa. Find your rhythm, find your flow. Left leg lifts up and open. Stepping forward, you know where to go. Arms reach to the side. Forward into reaching lunge. Open to warrior two. Flip the front palm. Reach forward and lift your front arm up. Keep that top arm as straight as you can. And the back hand can reach around, trying to find the front hip. One swift movement takes you all the way down to the floor, stepping back to high plank, and exhale down. Inhale, find length in the chest. Exhale back to down dog. Right leg lifting up and open, stepping forward. Arms to the side, reaching up, open up to warrior two. Flip the front palm over, reaching forward, take your reverse warrior. Then in one movement, coming up, straightening out the front leg. Step or hop your back foot a little bit closer. Turning your hips to face towards the front of your mat and taking a bind behind your back. So you can either hold on to opposite forearms or elbows, or you can clasp your hands behind your back if you like. Here we go. We're just trying to open up the chest here nicely. Keep the feet grounded. Slight bend into the front knee. Take a deep breath in. Lift your chest. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips. Taking a fold over the front leg. Reaching the chest forward. And then eventually softening your forehead down to wherever you're comfortable. Imagine that you're pulling your right hip slightly back. Pulling the left hip forward. Feeling that front hamstring. With control, lifting yourself up, releasing your arms, taking your hands down to the floor. Breathe in, step back to high plank, and exhale, lower yourself down. Keep flowing through the vinyasa. Find your breath if you lose it. Here we go. Left leg up and open. Stepping forward. Reaching lunge. Open to warrior two. Reverse warrior. Coming back to warrior two for a moment. Step the back foot closer. Straighten the front leg. Taking your bind with the arms and turning your hips towards the front of the mat. Deep breath in, lifts the chest. And an exhale, reaches your chest forward. Nice, taking a nice forward fold. With strength, lifting yourself up. Take your hands down to the floor. Step back to your high plank. And exhale, lower yourself down. Lift the chest, breathe in. And breathe out, back to down dog. Right leg up and open. Stepping forward. Arms reach back, and then through your reaching lunge, warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse warrior. And one movement coming out of reverse warrior, straighten the front leg, step the back foot closer, taking pyramid pose on the side. So taking your bind with your arms, hinging over the front leg, taking a fold just for a moment, and then coming up to about halfway, reaching your arms forward in front of you. Get some buoyancy into the back leg, maybe come onto the ball of the back foot. And then start to shift your weight forward, reach your arms forward and up, and float your back foot up away from the floor if you can. Finding warrior three. You can bring your hands to heart center as well if you like. Then try to step your back foot as far back as you can onto the mat, stepping it down, taking your hands down to the floor, step back to high plank, and lower yourself down. Flowing through the vinyasa, meeting in down dog. Left leg reaches up, stepping forward. Reaching lunge, takes you to warrior two. Flipping your front palm, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, step the back foot closer. Turn your hips towards the front of the mat. And hinging over the front leg. Coming up. Releasing your arms, reaching them to the front. Get soft into the back leg. And then lifting your back foot up and away from the ground. Try to use the butt of that back leg to lift it up and squeeze your ribs in towards your spine. Keeping the hips level. Float your back foot down to the floor as far as you can. Hands down to the ground. Step back on an inhale. And exhale, lower yourself down to the floor. Inhale, lifting the chest, and take it back to down dog. We've got one more on each side, guys. Hang in there. Right leg up and open. Stepping forward. Reaching lunge into warrior two. Reverse warrior. Straightening out the front leg, stepping it forward, and take your fold over the front leg, hips to the front. Coming up to halfway, reach your arms forward, lifting the back leg into warrior three. Stepping the back foot down, take your left hand to the floor, reach your right arm up to the sky for revolved lunge twist. See how light you can get onto your left hand. Circle your right hand back down to the floor. Breathe in, step back, and a strong vinyasa on an exhale. Here we go, last one on the left side. Up to the sky, step it forward. Reaching lunge. Then brings you up, open to warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse warrior. Coming out of reverse warrior, straighten the front leg, step the back foot closer. Take your bind behind your back and folding over the front leg. Coming up to halfway. Reach your arms forward or to the chest and float your back foot away from the floor. Stepping it far back onto the mat. Take your right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky. Looking up maybe to the top fingertips. Take your hand back down to the ground, step back to high plank, and exhale, lower down. Reach your chest forward, make this a really good last vinyasa of the flow, and move back to down dog. Slowly bringing your hips down to the ground. Have a sip of water if you like. Take child's pose. You can sit with your bum down towards your heels if you like. Taking a few deep breaths. And just feeling into your body how you might feel different now compared to those first few moments of the class. Slowly making your way up into box. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And then stepping back into a strong high plank. Stepping 1 foot back at a time. Lifting up to down dog. Bend into your knees. Look in between your hands. Either step or hop your feet forwards that they come between your hands. Or take a float. And then check in between your feet that you've got them hip distance apart. So using your two fists. That's it. Bringing your hands onto your shins or fingertips onto the ground. With a slight bend into the knees. Lift your chest up to halfway. So trying to get a flat back parallel to the ground more or less. Lengthen out the spine. Find some space into both sides of your body. And on your next exhale, fold down a bit deeper. Trying to make contact with your tummy and your ribs onto your thighs. Taking ragdoll arms so you can grab onto opposite elbows. And your biceps and your forearms, basically your arms are framing your head because you've got your head relaxed down. Your chin is slightly pulling towards your chest. And rippling through the spine, we're going to roll from the low back, coming up to that halfway position. So breathing in, rolling up, and then extending the spine out, almost pushing your bum back, reaching your chest forward and lifting your arms up in line with your shoulders. As you exhale, like a wave crashing down over your legs, folding forward. 2 more times. Breathe in, rolling up to halfway. Take your time, find the length, lift your elbows up. Exhale, ripple down over your legs. 1 more time. Lifting the arms to halfway and folding down. Now keeping the arms as they are, we're going to roll all the way up to standing. So rippling your body all the way up to standing, keeping your chin to your chest. And then at the last moment, lifting your chin up, reach your arms up above your head. Get a nice big stretch, reach your elbows back. Then releasing your arms, circling them around, placing your hands into your low back with your fingertips facing down. Really grabbing into your low back and the top of your bum so that you can feel that you're supporting yourself. Grounded through the feet, bent into the knees. Squeeze your bums, push your hips forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades to lift your chest up and maybe even looking up towards the sky to get a back bend. Squeezing yourself back up to standing. Continue the fold forward, hinging from your hips, taking your hands down to the floor. Get a bit more of a bend into your knees if you need to. Taking your left hand onto the outside of your right foot. And then reaching your right arm forward out in front of you. You can also take your hand onto your shin if you like, if you're not getting down to the foot. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, circling your right arm up to the sky to take a twist. Maybe even looking up towards that right thumb at the top. Press into your bottom foot to get a bit more of a rotation. And then circling your arm back down to the floor. Changing over. So right hand onto the shin or onto the foot. Reach your left arm forward. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, reaching up to the sky. Lengthen out the spine. Reaching your chest forward. Getting a nice opening twist. Circle your hand back down to the floor. Relaxing into your forward fold. Bring your chin to your chest. Keep your feet as they are. Stay nice and grounded. Get your fingertips onto the floor in front of your toes. And then sit your bum down to halfway. Lift your chest, look forward, and then reaching your arms out in front of you with your thumbs facing up for chair pose or modified chair pose. Lifting your chest a little bit more, and now circling your right arm back behind you, up above your head, and then reaching back, getting a twist, reaching the fingertips away from each other, circle it back over towards the front, left arm reaches up, and then circles open, looking back to the thumb, maybe feel the legs burning, keep your hips low, circle the arm back over, and take a forward fold, hands down, hips up, shaking your head out maybe a little bit. Keeping your fingertips to the floor, heel toe your feet about mat width apart, so taking your feet a bit wider. The main thing here is that your feet stay flat on the floor and that your feet are mostly facing forward. Keep your fingertips down. Sit your bum down to halfway, lift your chest and look forward. Then trying to squeeze your knees away from your elbows. Feel that activate into the belly and the hips. Reaching your arms forward. Now taking cactus arms and pulling your elbows back, bending 90 degrees into the elbows. And then reach forward, rounding out the upper back. Breathe in, open your chest, come to cactus arms. Breathe out, reach forward, hang in there. Breathe in, open the chest, last one. And exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Lift your bum up to the sky. And slowly just moving your hips from side to side. Maybe shaking the legs out a bit if you want as well. You have the option here to take crow pose, or you can just go straight back and take a vinyasa meters down on the mat. So for crow pose, you can step your feet a bit closer together, come all the way down so that your knees are bent, you're on your tippy toes, place your hands down onto the floor, shoulder width apart. If you've got a block or something, some sort of crash pad that you can use, place it just in front of you so that if you feel like you're going to tip forward, you can actually just stop yourself by touching your head onto the block or the pillow or anything. So hands are grabbing down into the floor. Getting your knees as high as you can onto your upper arms. The higher the better. Squeezing your arms into your knees, knees into your arms. Lift your bum up nice and high. Try to get light onto your feet, maybe 1 foot at a time. Maybe you're just shifting the weight into your hands. Maybe you lift both feet off the floor. Once you've spent enough time here, you can either take your feet down or step or hop back into high plank and take a vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Come forward to high plank, so ripple yourself forward into high plank. Now the option to come down onto your knees or challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe if you want to, from high plank. Let's take 5 counts to get all the way down onto our belly. So keep your elbows close to your sides, keep your hips up, and slowly lower down. 5, 4, 3, 2, almost there, and 1, going all the way down to the ground. Keep your hands where they are, basically underneath the shoulders with your elbows hugging your ribs. Squeeze into your belly, so you'll try and feel that you're actually squeezing your ribs towards your spine and pulling your belly and your pubic bone away from the floor. Squeeze into the upper back, and now try to hover your hands off the floor, lifting them up and away from the ground. Reaching your chest forward and just keeping your chin slightly tucked to get some length through the back of the neck. Now reaching your arms forward out in front of you with your thumbs facing up. Squeeze the upper back. Pull your elbows into your sides, hugging the ribs. 2 more times. Reach forward. Squeeze your elbows down and back. 1 more time. Squeeze the elbows down and back. And then taking your hands down to the floor. Release your head down to the ground. Taking a quick breather. Now the option to repeat a variation like that, or you can follow us into bow pose. So lifting your hands up away from the floor, bending into the right leg, reaching your right arm as far forward as you can, and then leading with your thumb, circle your arm up and back behind you, grabbing onto the inside or the outside of your foot, then bending into the left leg, reach your left arm forward and circle out, catching the back foot, squeezing into the shoulder blades and gently kicking your feet into your hands to lift and extend you, getting a bit more of a bend, lifting the legs up, and then slowly releasing, coming down, straightening out your legs. Maybe giving your hips a little shake from side to side. That usually feels pretty good after all the back bending. Taking 3 more deep breaths. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows hugging the ribs. Either coming up into a high plank or onto your knees. So if you're coming into a high plank, flex your toes under behind you. Otherwise, pushing your knees into the ground. Squeeze your belly with either one. Try not to leave your hips behind. Use the strength of your arms. Press yourself all the way up. Pushing up. Nice, strong push up. Make your way to down dog. And then making your way to seated. So it doesn't have to be fancy, but you can. That's it. Step one, shin at a time. Bend into the knees, maybe floating forward. Nice. Taking both legs out in front of you. And pulling the right knee in towards your chest. So pulling it up nice and tall. Try to meet your chest to your knee. And then taking your knee out towards the right hand side. With the sole of your foot hugging the inside of your left leg. Reach your arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, reach your chest forward as far as you can towards the left foot. Come to halfway. On an inhale, it's going to bring you all the way back up to lengthen the spine a little bit more. Exhale, fold maybe a little bit deeper this time. Inhale, come up. And on the last one, on the exhale, reaching your chest forward as far as you can. Grabbing hold of either your foot, your ankle, your calf. You can hold on to the floor, whichever feels good. Thinking of pulling your right bum down towards the floor and really reaching your right arm out towards that left foot. You may feel some good stretch into the left hamstring, the right side lower back. If it's too much into the knee, you can also just bend your knee slightly, the straight leg. Slowly making your way up. Keeping your right leg as it is. We're going to sort of roundhouse kick the left leg out behind us, coming into pigeon pose. So lifting the front leg, maybe using your hands, maybe not. Taking the leg out to the back. And then just adjusting your right leg as much as you need to. The main thing here is to flex into the front foot, into the ankle. And the more parallel your shin is with the front of your mat, the tougher it's going to be into the hip. You're going to feel the stretch a little bit more. Try to square off your hips. If you need to place a block underneath your right bum, you can do that. You can use a pillow as well, anything to support you. Also taking 3 breaths here to get into our full forward fold. So breathing in, coming up. As you exhale, reach your chest forward, coming down to halfway. Breathe in, lift up. You can use your arms to help. Exhale, reaching forward a bit deeper. Inhale to lengthen and come up. And on the last one, making your way down. You can see Misha's using the block underneath her forehead. Also using 2 fists on top of each other to rest your head on top of. Otherwise, taking whichever option feels good. Listening to your body here. If there's any pinching in the hip or it feels like it's just too much of a stretch, coming up and out of it slightly, just supporting yourself. Walking your hands closer towards you, slowly start pressing yourself up. And then roundhouse kick that leg all the way back around, but crossing it over your right leg, coming into cow face pose. So we're going to step the leg to cross it over. Both knees are bent, and we're trying to hug both heels in towards the opposite hips and stacking the knees on top of each other. So both knees are pointing in exactly the same direction forward. You can see the way Misha did it was she came up onto the knees and just scooched them a little bit closer together and then sitting down. So getting nice and comfy in the twist of the legs. Breathe in, reach your arms up to the sky. And this might be enough for you already, but if you want to forward fold, exhale to forward fold, come down to halfway. Breathe in, reach up. Forward fold a little bit more. Coming up. And on the last one, finding your full expression of cow face pose on this side. You can rest your chin down, your forehead down onto your knee if you like. Sometimes just sitting in this position is enough for a lot of people. Slowly coming up and crossing your legs and pulling the left knee in towards your chest, straighten out your right leg. Getting up tall through the spine and taking your left knee down to the side. Turn your hips so that they're facing the front edge of your mat. Breathe in, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold to halfway only, finding length. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, fold forward, leading with the left arm a little bit more. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, folding forward, hands to the floor. They can be as close as you like towards you, or you can even use a block on the end of your foot for a bit of an extension of your leg. Really feel like you're breathing into that left side rib cage and low back. Last deep inhale and exhale. And slowly making your way up. So here you can challenge yourself by not using your hands, or you can use your hands for a bit of stability. Squeeze into your right thigh, circle your leg all the way back behind you, and then straighten your leg out. Then if you need to readjust, use your hands. Reposition the front leg, flexing into your left ankle and making sure you're supported under the bum if you need to. Take in 3 breaths to get all the way down. Breathe in, lift your chest. Breathe out, reach your chest forward. Coming up, find length. On your exhale, it takes you a little bit deeper. Breathe in, coming up. And for the last one, really pushing your bum down and back, reaching your chest forward, crown of the head reaches forward. And using the block under your forehead, maybe you've got a pillow. You can use your hands. Whatever you did on the other side. Got another 3 breaths here. Slowly making your way up, using your hands, walk them towards you. And then scooching onto your left bum, maybe use the hands, maybe not. Swing your leg around and step it to the outside of your left thigh. Coming up onto your knees and really try to, like Tetris, like really trying to puzzle and push your knees close together. And getting your knees pointing in exactly the same direction, like an arrow. Hug your feet in towards your hips, the opposite hip. Breathe in, lift your chest, lift your arms. Exhale forward to halfway. Inhale, reach up, lift the chest. Exhale a bit deeper. Try and keep the bum mostly on the ground. Breathing in, coming up. And exhale, folding down. Supporting as much as you need to with your hands. You can also bring your arms down to your sides if you like. That feels pretty good for the shoulders. Your chin or your forehead is down onto your knees. Feeling the hips, the legs, maybe the lower back. Using your hands for support if you need to. Lifting yourself up. And now just straightening your legs out onto the mat. Slowly making your way down onto your back. So reach your arms forward maybe if you want to. If you want to work a little bit harder, squeeze the belly around the back and slowly lowering yourself down. This way we get the lower back nice and flat into the ground as well. Squeezing the belly nice and slow, chin to chest. Keeping the lower back flat and then releasing your head down to the floor. Bending into both knees, placing your feet flat on the floor. And crossing your left ankle onto your right thigh, but keep both knees pointing up to the sky. Take your arms out to your sides. You can either straighten them out or you can take cactus arms, bending to 90 degrees. And then using the left ankle to pull yourself into a twist. So your left leg is pulling the right leg down towards the left side. Try to keep your right shoulder blade grounded and really reach the right fingertips out towards the side. You might feel some lengthening all the way down the right side, especially into the hip. It's just a gentle twist into the spine as well. Bringing your knees back up to center, low back flat, and changing over. Step your left foot off. Your right foot crosses over onto the left thigh. And then pulling your left leg down using the right foot. Looking towards the left fingertips. Imagine from your left armpit all the way down to your left knee is lengthening out. Breathing into that space between your ribs and your hips, especially on the left side. Draw your lower back flat, bring your knees up to center. Releasing your right foot from your knee, pull your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a bit of a squeeze, press the lower back flat into the floor. And then taking your feet down to the floor, walking them out until they're all the way straight down onto the mat. And getting yourself ready for corpse pose. So get yourself nice and comfortable, whatever that means for you. Letting your feet flop out to the sides. Release your arms down to your side. Maybe turn your palms up to the sky. That'll relax the shoulders a bit. And then maybe taking a few extra deep inhales and exhales, 2 or 3 before then completely relaxing and letting go of trying to control your body or your breathing. Mostly been doing that for the last hour or so, so try to let go of all that control now. Just observe and feel your breath. See if each time that you exhale, you can just relax and soften the body a little bit more. Finding it getting heavier down into your mat. With each exhale, softening into maybe those 1 or 2 spaces that you can still feel a little bit of tension. Soften the jaw and collarbones. relaxing the ribs and belly. Your hips and thighs. Relaxing your calves. Your feet. Feel your arms and legs heavy down into the ground. And just take in the next minute on your own with your breath. And now, bringing your focus back to your breathing, if you had lost it at all. And start breathing a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, filling up the belly. And then a nice full exhale. Maybe breathing a little bit deeper each time, filling up the lungs and the belly. And maybe even letting the breath go, like a bit of a sigh on the way out. Open your mouth, stretching your mouth and your jaw open as much as you can, like a big yawn. Reaching your arms up above your head, taking a big full body stretch. Squeezing into the legs, squeeze the whole body, and then pulling one leg at a time in towards your chest. Rolling onto your right side. And then keeping your eyes closed, pressing yourself all the way up into seated. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up to the sky. Bring your palms to touch and slowly bringing your hands down so that your thumbs touch your chest. Take a little bow. Say well done to yourself. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Really appreciate it. And we want to thank Gumpo for coming in here to distract us in the last few moments. Thank you guys so much. Feel free to chat to us a bit afterwards if you've got any questions or comments.
And we'll sort the speaker out. Sorry about that, but scratching going on there.
Yeah, sorry about the scratching.
Fine. Nice dog.
Thanks.
I had it muted, but otherwise you would have heard mine.
Yeah,
really
it's either him or the hardy does that you guys hear.
Cool, yeah. Stefan, thanks so much. Well, too many cute doggies, Cerise, thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome, you're welcome.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much for the feedback. It really helps. Thanks, Aline. Jenny, thank you so much. Drenka. Jabulile, thank you so much. You're welcome. See you next time.
Guys, tomorrow 7:30 and 5:30 again.
Awesome, Marilyn. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the support, guys. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
It's so cool. Thank you.
If your bodies are working hard, you can also look at the different types of classes. I know there's not a nurturing tomorrow, but there is the day after. Get your bums into a nurturing just to get your bodies open.
Cool, guys. Thanks so much. I'm just reading all of these, and it's so cool to see so many people in these classes.
And show us your puppies.
Yeah, show us your dogs.
Or cats.
Yeah, or cats.
Or rats.
We don't discriminate either way. So you're welcome, guys. Thanks so much. Sumina, well done. Renee.
Also be raised hand. What does that mean?
What?
There.
I don't know.
Maybe tell us in the chat box.
Elsabe, did you have a question maybe?
You guys can welcome to put your audio on if you want to have a chat, eh?
Nicola, cool man. Thanks so much.
Oh, Nicola.
Tian, nurturing. What are you asking? What is nurturing, or when is the nurturing class?
What?
So this was more it was a Hotpod flow, so it was a bit more movement and a bit more dynamic movements with the breath, where nurturing is a little bit more static. It's not quite as active and strenuous. It's a bit more for resting and recovery. So if you're feeling that your body's maybe a bit more stressed out or anything like that, it's really good for relaxing.
Tight. If your body's tight and it needs like
I didn't put in the screen.
mobility type.
I didn't put it in the screen.
It can also be quite strong because we do hold the poses, but it is a lot more
I
resting.
didn't get it on the screen.
Yeah, depending on what you're used to.
It's
It's quite tough because I'm used to moving. So then I do it as
I don't know if it's the camera. From my laptop, because remember I'm using my laptop.
That's Raveen, for sure.
That is Raveen.
I can do it, Raveen. How's it?
That's good, man.
How do we know? It will say on the schedule when you go to book the class, it will say nurturing flow.
There's Wednesday morning 7:30 a nurturing flow with Jolene, and I think Thursday there's one, Friday, or Sunday. I know there's definitely one on a Sunday, 9 a.m. We gave one this Sunday.
Just have a look further into the schedule, and you'll see it says nurturing.
Hey, Tian, did you guys not hear the scratching of the microphone?
Every now and again, was there some loud scratching?
And does anyone know if, what is that company that does delivery? Take a Lot. Does anyone know if Take a Lot is operating? Oh, you thought it was outside. Okay, then it sounded a little bit further away.
I think it's louder for us than it is for them, but still.
Take a Lot. Anyone know if Take a Lot operates? We can't escape the Hari does.
Cool, guys. Whoever's left, thanks so much.
Oh, Bluetooth headsets.
What's that?
No, he's asking what do we need. I said Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah, I tried a Bluetooth headset, but it's just not very good quality. So we're looking to get some other ones with better quality.
Bless you.
Okay.
But I'll check it out. I'll see if we can get some.
Thanks.